Okay, let's get into it. Vikings 1-0. 1-0. Incredible comeback. Nobody thought this was going to happen. I was right there with the doubters for most of this game, um, and with good cause. I mean, look, nothing could make me happier than the Vikings making me eat my words. A lot of negativity for a while there, um, and it was gross. But as the saying goes, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And um, this was like the you know and it just showed up on my YouTube feed today. The highlights of the um, the game in '92, Vikings Bears, where the Vikings were down 20-0. I believe into the fourth quarter, and scored 3 touchdowns to come back and win, and that kind of springboarded that season. It was like a week 5 game.
Of course.
Can we stay for lunch?
We'll see where it goes. We'll see where this goes, but on one hand, it's always the Soldier Field games. The Soldier Field games are always they're miserable. They're a miserable experience. Even when you win, it's always a miserable experience. That was like my hope, back of my mind, hope, watching the atrocity of the first 3 quarters, that maybe you could just chalk it up to the Soldier Field thing. And I know we've won. I think we've won now. What, 6? Is it 6 in a row? We've really flipped the almost 20-year Soldier Field curse, and now we're winning these games. Like this is not a game we win 10 years ago in this stadium. But it's unbelievable. Where to begin? I mean, like that. That first 3 quarters was horrible. I mean, this was this was the Josh Freeman Monday night game. This was rock bottom level play, really, on both sides. I mean, the defense the defense stunk early. Really struggled with containing Caleb Williams when he would run around. Some poor tackling, but they did only give up that 1 touchdown, until the very end. It kind of felt like the whole team just didn't feel like they were really in it. That they were really ready to play. Because Caleb Williams was not even good. Even when the Bears were in control of the game, Caleb Williams was not good at all in this game. He was terrible. We were just making some things very, very easy for him. But obviously, the focus was the focus of the whole season is JJ McCarthy and what he can do. This was the first time we've seen him now in a regular season game. First time we've seen him for more than a drive or 2 in a preseason game. And of course, it's the focus, and it was horrible for 3 quarters. It was god awful, and it wasn't entirely on him. I thought at least in that first half, I thought the game plan was just basically setting him up to fail. I mean, they weren't doing anything to try to get him moving around at all. I thought there was no creativity to the offense, no creativity to anything they were doing. And then on top of that, I thought McCarthy was clearly rattled. I mean, it's understandable. It's the first game. Prime time road game, tough place to play. Whatever the Bears are, but I mean, Bears probably are not going to be good this year. But it's a tough place to play. It's a place that's swallowed up veteran quarterbacks many times. But I didn't think McCarthy looked comfortable at all. I mean, he was KOC. I think it was halftime, or maybe no, it was after the first quarter. KOC was interviewed on the broadcast, and he was saying some very complimentary things about how well McCarthy looked, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He looks terrible. Um, but again, it wasn't just him. The offensive line was getting manhandled. That was another discouraging thing, and through the first half of the first three quarters, all the talk about how we had beefed up the trenches, and we were getting dominated on both sides of the trenches again, and that was very discouraging. And even how we were dropping passes. Even Justin Jefferson kind of let a couple get away. Adam Thielen dropped a wide open third down pass at one point. It was just, it was just so frustrating. I thought, obviously, the game didn't turn yet, but I thought, just sneaking in that field goal, that 59-yarder from Reichert right before the half, just to get a little positivity going, and then they were driving again to start the third quarter, and then the pick six happens. I mean, again, that was, that certainly felt like dagger situation, because it didn't seem like we were going to be, we were down 17-6, then it didn't seem like we were going to be even able to get 11 points to tie the game. I didn't think that was even very likely. At that point, I'm just begging for some positivity just to carry on into next week, because whatever JJ McCarthy had done in this game, if it had stayed horrible, he's the guy for weeks. There's a lot. You've basically got a GM, and to a lesser extent a coach, who have invested their entire careers into this quarterback. So there's not going to be a quick hook. they're gonna ride this thing out, whether it's good or bad. Some people saying, "Oh, put in Max Brosmer." Like, what are you talking about? That's, it's not going to happen. Put in Carson Wentz. Like, he's been here 2 weeks. You're not going to put him in any either. But at 17-6, it's bad. It's looking bleak. It's like, okay, we're going to be 0-1. We're going to be tied with the lowly Lions in last place. It's all bad. Just because, I mean, what was it like? I was looking this up. It was like they had 9 drives before the fourth quarter, and 6 of them were punts, and 1 of them was the pick six. And I think every punt drive was a 3-play drive. Like, they weren't sustaining anything. They couldn't get on. They couldn't get anything going on offense. Like, they would have these third downs, and then they would just screw them up and punt, and there you go again. And obviously the defense was getting gassed at that point, and they held in there. I mean, again, until that one right at the end, which was kind of garbage time. Not really. We'll get to that. I mean, they didn't give up a touchdown for, how many minutes was that? I mean, that had to have been, certainly over like 40 minutes, 50 minutes maybe. I mean, it was a long time. So they held in there. That, in the second half, then the defense did, noticeably start to get pressure. They got a lot of pressure up front. Was it Hargrave got a couple sacks? Gink was so close to getting another one of his. It's unbelievable how it's always that same play where it's like they try a quick swing pass, and Gink jumps it, and Gink jumps it, almost had another pick six. It's unbelievable how that happens. But the defense held in there. They didn't, they weren't able to get any turnovers. They got close on one or two. But obviously they were playing a little shorthanded. Harrison Smith didn't even travel to the game. Darisaw, which they sat Darisaw. There was, I think it was very close to him playing. They sat him. I think it's because of that damn field, because hours before the game, here come all these reports about how terrible the field is. Which, I mean, Soldier Field is often terrible, but this looked. I mean, you could see it on the watching the game, like it didn't look right. So it's like you're not going to put a guy, you're not going to put a guy out there, and get him hurt again on that terrible field. I think we came out of this game pretty injury free. I think Cashman got hurt, running after Williams at one point, and don't think we had any other injuries. But we had Darisaw out, and was it Justin School was the replacement, and boy was he terrible. Hurry back, Christian Darisaw. I'm not sure why he's the backup left tackle. I don't know why it wouldn't be Brandel, but makes you appreciate what Cam Robinson did last year when he came in and held it down there for a while. But yeah, he was terrible. And that was part of the problem. It was wasn't just McCarthy being bad. It was the pass rush was getting to him. The offensive line was not holding up. Just they weren't running. But then of course, and in the win with what happened, McCarthy will get all the attention. He deserves it because he was outstanding in the fourth quarter. But I think the game, from offensive standpoint, really turned when they started running the ball well. Jordan Mason, I don't know if this will hold as him being the number one back. I mean, that was the move from the offseason that I was the most excited by, was getting Jordan Mason. I can't believe the 49ers just gave him to the Vikings for a 6th-round pick or something. It's unbelievable. I thought that was just a fantastic trade. Aaron Jones actually had more of an impact as a receiver tonight than as a running back. But I think Mason only ended up with I think it was 65 yards, but they were a big 65 yards, and it was almost all in the in that late in the game. Really big to get that run game going, and then it kind of opened up a little bit. McCarthy would hit a pass or two. He had a big one to Jefferson, and then he gets that laser touchdown to Jefferson, and it's well, this is and then they screwed up the 2-point conversion, of course, even though they had 2 cracks at it. But although that evened out because they got the 2 on the next one, so it's it's a 1-score game here. This has been a terrible game. Basically the Bears, bad as the Bears were, they've been in control the whole game, but here we are. And then the defense really stood up. I think that was a 3-and-out after that, and then right down the field, McCarthy hits terrific pass to Aaron Jones for the touchdown. They get the 2 to Thielen, and and I think maybe the Bears might have gotten a first down on the next one, and then it was the most beautiful drive. I forget. I didn't check to see how many plays it was, but it was. Is this the Vikings? Because this drive, that last drive started with, I don't know, 7 minutes left, 6 minutes left, and what have we not seen with the Vikings for just years? You got a lead, it's late, you got a late lead, you got the ball, run the ball down the opponent's throat and just finish it off. And that's what they did. A lot of Mason again, and then I think the first and only designed QB run of the whole game, McCarthy takes it around the end for I think it's 14 yards and a touchdown. It's beautiful. I almost cried. I was so emotional to see them do that, because that's, for years it's like, you know, and this even goes back before KOC. You know, this team just always struggles to like put away a game. And I guess they did kind of struggle to put away the game anyway, because they let the Bears kind of get back down and score a little too quickly for that last touchdown. Um, they had like one play, and then a lot of strategery involved there, because they you know didn't want them to score before the two. Then they did, but then the Bears screwed up and kicked it where it was returnable. Ty Chandler, nice little contribution from my guy Ty Chandler to bring it out, because that took it under the two, which meant they didn't give the Bears an extra timeout, because they had only had one left at that point. They managed the end of that game very, very well, and then we get the one good punt that we really needed from Ryan Wright, and they tried a couple. They tried, the Stanford band play once, and that didn't work, and that was it. But it was, it's not the most improbable win Vikings have ever had. They were literally down 33-0 and won a game. So it's like, it's not the most improbable win I've seen, but to go 3 quarters deep and be that terrible, and then manage to really flip it. And again, I was as down as anybody on McCarthy early in that game. I'm and I'll eat my words. I was I haven't been as high on him to begin with, so it's like I'm seeing some of this, and I'm like, oh no, I was right. He's not going to be any good, and we still don't know if he's going to be good like long term. This could be a game, a quarter. Obviously, you want him to be able to play good for more than one quarter, because you're gonna, they're gonna play tougher teams than the Bears, but again, like it can happen. We've seen it, and again, even in all the negativity, it is like, okay, he's not a rookie, but he's kind of a rookie, and it's in a stadium that's always weird with the Vikings. So, so I'm trying, it's like I'm trying to, look at what I'm seeing, but also, keep it in context, and it's just, it's a balance, and the balance implies after the comeback, it's like, okay, well, they made the comeback, but also they were bad for 3 quarters. So you want, if this is a team that indeed intends to not just grow a young quarterback, but compete for something this year, like really go compete for a division, compete maybe for a playoff run, dare I say a Super Bowl, that sort of thing. Like, they're going to have to do better than that, but we've seen it both ways. We've seen Vikings teams start great and then fade, and we've also seen Vikings teams start horribly and then turn it on. So Atlanta next week for the home opener, Sunday Night Football. That's, I would think, got a good chance to win. I said, technically I did not think the Vikings were going to win this. Mostly because just, again, I have PTSD from these Soldier Field games, and we had won so many in a row already, and I was like, can we possibly continue to do it? And so I had my doubts there, but I said, like, if they get this Bears game, shit, they can go undefeated into the bye. Why not? And watching watching the game Sunday, and like everyone's like, "Oh, the Packers are so great." Well, maybe they're not. Maybe the Lions are just mediocre. Maybe the Packers are mediocre. Maybe the Vikings are the best team in the division. I mean, and even after this, it's like, "Oh, well, they sucked for 3 quarters." Well, look, there have been some very good Vikings teams in recent years that had ugly wins in Chicago. It's just, including last year. It's just, it can be, it can just be that way. Um, and you know, again, it's a balancing act. Trying to like, what am I seeing from JJ McCarthy? And again, it's all we've seen from him. So it's maybe if he had played all last year and had the usual ups and downs, or maybe if he'd had a great year and then struggled in this game, it'd be one thing. But it's kind of all we've seen of him, and ultimately, I mean, very memorable first game. I mean, and weirdly, it's like I keep bringing up the Dante Culpepper comparisons. Well, that was a week 1 game against the Bears when he had his first career start, and it was a win. I mean, I think it was damn near the same score. I think, um, you know, that was more of a good 4-quarter game, as I recall. But um, so I'm getting rambly here. What are we at? 21 minutes. I'm really going to try to do these videos a little shorter this year because sometimes they take a long time. And then when they're long, they take a long time to upload, and it's just a nuisance. So, yeah. But yeah, really, really just, you know, hopefully this can be a springboard. And, obviously McCarthy is a guy who has confidence. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He's got the vibes, he's got the swagger. There's no doubt about that. Um, you know, and I mean, like like he's struggling, but I mean, he made some excellent throws in this game. He didn't run very much. I thought there'd be a little more, you know, taking advantage of the mobility a little more. Um, Maybe that will be a little more possible on a real field instead of a disgrace of a field like Soldier Field. Um, but so what else? What else happened in the game here? Obviously, because the stats weren't too much for McCarthy, there wasn't a whole lot in the stats for receivers. I think Jefferson had like 4 catches, and I think Hawkinson only had 1 or 2, and um, they did draw a couple pretty big pass interference penalties. Um, there was one late that Joe Buck and Aikman were bitching about, saying, "Oh, this wasn't pass interference." Yes, it was. He literally grabbed the guy's arm, like it's pass interference. Um, but yeah, I mean, and of course, Aaron Jones figuring in more in the receiving game, which was a surprise. Um, on defense, Hargrave with a couple sacks. Good. Obviously, good turnaround there. We'll see. I mean, obviously, we didn't have quite the full thing. We'll see. We get Harrison Smith back. I think it was Theo Jackson made one real good hit on a downfield pass at one point. Miles Price, great job on the punt returns. I mean, that was one of the big worries of the whole camp and preseason. Like, who the hell is going to return the punts? Because I believe that was going to be Rondale Moore, and then he got hurt at his season end. And Miles Price from where's he from? Indiana, I think, or something like that. One of the a Midwestern school. Had a couple really nice returns. If he can handle that, fine. We don't have to worry about that at least. And so what else? What else did I forget? Probably nothing. It's a little late. So sometimes it's hard to remember when it's late and I'm tired. But so specifics, whatever. You know, overall, this is a very. I mean, at least when they had kind of started to make the game a little more respectable, I was like, okay, at least we got some positivity. We can go forward from this, and because when it was just the disaster, it was like, oh fuck, week one game, it's just gonna sap all the enthusiasm for the season. Home opener next week. It's like everyone's gonna be crabby about it, and worrying about is McCarthy any good at all? Is he a bust? It's like, but then the way this game goes, everybody's going to be extra juiced up for next week. Get Atlanta in here. We got Atlanta in here. And then we got Cincinnati in here. Cincinnati didn't look that good in their opener. They should have lost to Cleveland. I mean, talking about giving a game away. And then we got the two games out in Europe against Pittsburgh. And no, I'm not at all believing that Aaron Rodgers is like revived. And then Cleveland. So, yeah, I think they're still going to be like McCarthy's not going to be like perfect in any game. I mean, I wasn't expecting perfection. I just was I was more than a little discouraged at how bad it was there for a while. But yeah, I think nothing. Nothing gets you excited like a comeback win. And this was a pretty good one. This was do it on a prime time. Like Vikings always have these issues in primetime games. Again, I don't think the Bears are going to be anything special this year. It's not like he came back and beat a great team, but under the circumstances to go from the depths to the euphoria like we did in the fourth quarter, I think that's a really great start to this season. They've already won one game that I didn't necessarily think they were going to win, and I had them on 10-7. So, like, let's go, man. It's a hell of a way to start a season and a hell of a way to start a career. And I mean, if McCarthy proves to be the guy for years, this game will always be looked back on as like, here's where it all began. That 3-touchdown fourth quarter, to come back and win. So hopefully it is that and not just a fleeting highlight. But I think this is. We'll have some rough ones. They'll have some rough ones that they can't pull out of. But I think every Vikings fan right now is really, really happy with the way this turned out, and hopefully we can keep this going. And that's right, as they're showing on TV right now, the KOC locker room speeches are back. Can't wait to watch that. So, Vikings fans, we pulled one out of our asses tonight, and hopefully, this is the beginning of a beautiful quarterback friendship.